Hello and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me, Sharad Dubey. In the next 1 hour, we'll take you through all the top buzzers in trade, why they're buzzing on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. We'll get you all that and more. But first up, how's the market really shaping up, Sharad? It looks like that it'll be a week where we end the week negatively. We did see scaling 25,000 levels, but we have been unable to hold on to those levels. Even for Nifty Bank, we are hovering around the lowest point of the day.
Well, that's right. But Ankita, you should know that the market has been jumping over the last 6 trading sessions, and it's a breather. It's not that anything there needs to be a panic or such. Of course, it's below the 25,000 mark and technically below the 24,950 levels. And slight attempts are, of course, coming in from day's low. But yes, net, the overall the markets are seeing a breather, be it Nifty index or even the Nifty Bank index for the overall view. But the entire setup looks like a buy on the dip market. Because the trend overall is still positive and important support levels are still being respected in the market. And today, of course, Friday, we have a long weekend also coming in, so it's advisable to have a light positions going ahead as important global cues also kick in, especially Trump might announce something in the evening at the Oval Office. That's what the reports are suggesting, and the view coming in from the Fed's Powell on the Jackson Hole Symposium as well. Broader indices, however, on the positive side, mid-cap, small-cap index, and that's a good news for the markets. Now let's start our show, and first joining us is Kunal Shah, Senior Technical and Derivative Analyst at Mirae Asset Share Khan, and from the research team we are joined by Rabinder as well. Good afternoon, Kunal. What are your views for the market right now? Any position bet would be important right now? It's advisable to trade light.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to all the audience. Definitely, I think before the key event, it's better to stay light on your positions. However, our view on the Nifty indices continues to be on the positive side. So we expect that even if Nifty dips on the downside toward 24,700, 800 zone, which is where the 20 DMA of the Nifty index is placed, that would be a good buying opportunity. We expect this trend to continue toward 25,400 on the higher end. For the Bank Nifty indices, this has been the spoil sport, giving us a 3 to 4 days consolidation breakdown, so that could test the support zone of 55,000 on the downside. And if on Monday's trading session, say we close below 55,000, that will again lead to further declines towards 53,500. So I think Bank Nifty has been the spoil sport in this rally, and any recovery in Bank Nifty surpassing the 20 DMA on the higher end, which is placed at 55,647, that would trigger a short covering move on the Bank Nifty indices.
All right, so those are the levels to watch out for as far as Nifty and Nifty Bank are concerned. But let's get started with all the shows and all the stocks that are in focus today. First up is Yes Bank, that is in focus in the back of the fact that they've announced the reappointment of Prashant Kumar as the Managing Director and CEO. That will be effective from the 6th of October 2025 to April 5th, 2026. And this decision is approved at the bank's 21st annual general meeting, reflecting confidence in Kumar's leadership, which has been a pivotal in the bank's turnaround since its reconstruction in 2020. On the back of that, Yes Bank is in focus.
Well, positive news flow coming in for Yes Bank, but not so much reaction in the stock. The AMC space, that's buzzing in trade as well. Certain AMC counters saw some buying the last 2 to 3 trading sessions as well. Kunal, what are you making of UTI AMC? It is supposedly the cheapest AMC stock in the listed space.
I think, yeah, definitely. I think the entire AMC space is buzzing, and UTI AMC looks good for a positional bet. So I can expect all-time new high for UTI AMC in the next week. So one can definitely go on the long side. The support for the stock is now placed at 1290, 1300 on the downside, and one can expect positional targets of 1480 to 1540 on the high end.
Well, interesting development coming in for the UTI AMC counter. But up next is Vedanta. It's not because of the stock price movement, but because of a dividend announcement. It's a very important dividend announcement coming in from Vedanta. The second interim dividend announcement of 16 rupees per share. Now that adds up to 23 rupees. Interestingly, the dividend yield becomes 12% and the exact record date would be August 27. So this augurs well because there has been some negative development coming in the stock itself because of the delays in their demerger process, especially what the regulatory authorities have been stating, and NCLT has actually requested a date for the company to give a representation, and the company in their exchange filings have given the representations as well.
Absolutely, Vedanta in news on the back of that dividend. In fact, Vedanta has always been known for its dividend yields, and that is one stock that people buy for its dividends. But let's move on to the next counter, which is Zydus Life. Kunal, I'll come to you. You picked up Zydus Life for us. Tell us what you see on the charts for this counter. It has been giving good moves in the last 2 odd weeks. It has moved up. Do you see this momentum to stay intact?
Yeah, see, I think definitely. I think pharma as a space has been hammered recently because of the tariff news, but I think Zydus Life, despite of the volatility, has been sustaining at high levels. On the larger term weekly chart, there is an inverted head and shoulder pattern which has formed on the chart, and it's on the verge of a breakout. So here we can expect some swift move coming in, expecting targets of 1100 on the upside in the short term. One can keep a stop loss of 940 on the downside.
Well, interesting development, and one more thing I would like to add for Zydus Life is that the company also operates for rabies treatment, and today Supreme Court had ordered for the stray dogs to actually get injections for the rabies and then be released back into the space. So that's also an interesting point I'd like to make. But let's keep the discussion for the pharma sector. Ravinder, what are you gathering for Piramal Pharma? Important news flows coming in.
Well, as Piramal Pharma is in focus, where Piramal Pharma Solution and New Amsterdam Pharma invest in dedicated suite to enhance oral solid dosage production capabilities, and the multi-million dollar investment provide New Amsterdam Pharma with commercial capacity for the fixed dose combinations of obexitrabic and azitembic to meet potentially high commercial demand. And the Piramal Pharma Solution has harnessed the strength of 2 additional facilities to efficiently produce the FDC, demonstrating the advantage of its integrated approach to development. So back of this news flow, Piramal Pharma is in focus, and stock is holding a gain of more than 1%.
All right, that is Piramal Pharma holding on to those gains. But Kunal, let me come to you for another counter from the pharma pack itself, and that is a Cipla you've picked out on the charts for us. Tell us what do you see on the charts for Cipla?
I think Cipla again from the pharma pack where we have seen a consolidation breakout on the chart, and we expect this momentum to continue on the higher end. The support for the stock at the downside is placed at 1540, and one can expect this move to continue towards 1660 to 1680 on the higher end. So entire pharma space looks on the buy side, and Cipla is one counter which looks relatively on the stronger side, and you can expect this momentum to continue.
Well, yes, that's an interesting take. A lot of discussion on the pharma sector. But let's take a break for Market Fatafat, and after the break, we'll be back to the stocks and the news flows.
Welcome back. You tuned into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Sharad Dubey, and we are taking you through all the top buzzers in the trading session today. And one such counter that is in focus today is ITC on the back of a note by Morgan Stanley, which is maintaining a buy call with an overweight stance. But they have revised the target price. In fact, they've cut the target price to 469 from an earlier 500 rupees. And they feel that the FY 26-27 top line was slightly higher, led by agri and cigarette business. But the EBITDA margins cut by 175 to 250 bips due to inflation and weaker FY 25 margins. Now, FY 26-27 earnings estimate is lowered by 3 to 4%. They're maintaining a buy call, but they have cut the target price for ITC. And on the back of that, we do see ITC reeling under selling pressure right now with cuts of 1.7%.
Well, I see ITC seeing a downtick and going down below the 400 mark after a really long time. So that's something to watch out for. Will it be a buy on dip strategy or not? But Kunal, what's your view for Bharat Forge? What are the important technical levels looking like?
I think Bharat Forge is one stock that has been forming lower top, lower bottom formation, and it has been facing resistance at the 20 DMA. So the view stands negative. The stock can slide down further. The resistance for the stock is at 1200. And till the time it is trading below this level, the view remains negative. You can expect the stock to go towards 1050 to 1025 on the downside.
Well, interesting for Bharat Forge stock in the day's low levels. Eternal is the next stock, and interesting development coming in. Company has incorporated a new arm called Blinkit Foods. Of course, it is going ahead of Swiggy in the race for getting in new businesses. It has a better path to profitability when it comes to the numbers, because the company is already profitable. They recently launched District, which which was for ticketing, for experiences, and now this is Blinkit Foods. Now, of course, the entire definition or the scope has not been given, but interestingly, a new business is something which Eternal is entering, and stock itself also positive, flattish, but on a good note, the stock is moving up.
Right, so Eternal up moves coming in there, trading in the green. But coming to you, Rabinder, HUL, there's a management reject that has happened. Take us through that.
Well, yes, HUL is in focus on the back of the management rejig, where after appointing Priya Nair as a MD and CEO on July 10, HUL has now announced a new CFO, Niranjan Gupta, to succeed Ritesh Tiwari as a CFO, which is effective from 1st November 2025. And along expected lines, Ritesh Tiwari is being elevated internally at a group level, and Ritesh Tiwari is appointed as a global head of M&A and Treasury, Unilever PLC, which is effective from 1st November 2025 and will be based on London. If we talk about Niranjan Gupta, then Niranjan Gupta has been with HUL for 20 years across several leadership roles in the company. Following his HUL has spent 3 years at Vedanta Limited and then joined Hero MotoCorp in 2017 as a CFO, and he was subsequently elevated as a CEO in 2023. Contribution by Ritesh Tiwari. Ritesh Tiwari took over ED and Finance and CFO in 2021 and helped steer in HUL in COVID times, stayed in the ice cream business demerger into Quality World. So back of this management rejig, Hindustan Unilever is in focus.
Interesting development coming in. Thanks, Ravinder. Kunal, Adani Enterprises, what's your view on that? Stock has been a bit volatile over the last 4 to 5 trading sessions, but now what are the views looking like?
I think still the view remains on the negative side. This was a pullback rally which got over in Adani Enterprise, and you can expect further correction into the stock. With even the DXY dollar index going on the higher end, we expect Adani Enterprise still to correct on the downside. So overall, the view is negative. You can expect the stock to come towards the mark of 2270 to 2250. The higher end resistance for the stock is 2400.
All right, so that's Adani Enterprise on the charts, but the financial world is really waiting out and is abuzz with anticipation as investors are waiting for Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments at the annual Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. And this year's theme is labor market in a transition, demographics, macroeconomic policy in focus. My colleague Varun is joining us with all that we are expecting. Take it away, Varun.
Well, so the Jackson Hole Symposium that has already started on 21st of August and it will go till 23rd of August, and the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell will actually speak on Friday, that is 22nd of August. And this year the theme is labor markets in transition, demographics, productivity and macroeconomic policy. Now all eyes will be what Jerome Powell actually speaks on the rate cuts, because if you look at the overall data of US markets, the inflation data, the jobs data, they're actually very confusing. And also if you look at the FOMC minutes, they have spoken about the tariff effect that may take longer to materialize. And also if you look at the minutes, it has been said that majority of the members of the Fed, they actually view inflation as a bigger risk than the employment. So we will have to wait and watch what actually Fed Chairman Jerome Powell speaks on the overall inflation side. And also many of them are expecting that this would be a precursor to the September policy, and many of them are actually waiting to see what he says on rate cuts. But also remember that it would be the 8th speech of Jerome Powell in Jackson Hole. Before this, he has given speeches for around 7 times, and this would actually also be the last speech of Jerome Powell in Jackson Hole, because his term as the Fed chair will actually end next year. So it's very important to see what he says in this Jackson Hole Symposium, because as we have already seen, the tussle between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell regarding rate cuts has been lingering since last long a few weeks or months. So all eyes would be on his speech, what he speaks, and it would be a precursor to the September policy of Federal Reserve.
Thank you very much, Varun, for giving us an update for the Jackson Hole Symposium. And interestingly, the street is factoring in that earlier the chances of Fed rate cut, that was roughly 90-odd%. Now it's coming down to 70-odd%. But now let's just take a break for Markets Fatafat. On the other side, we'll be back with lots of stocks and lots of impact analysis.